It's not uncommon for men to be ignored by women, but what you must not do is behave improperly and end up humiliating yourself in front of a woman, or worse, engage in a fight with her and be seen by everyone as a weak man throwing tantrums for a woman's attention. In this video, I'll give you some simple tips to navigate this situation. And the best part is, you won't come across as weak or end up humiliated by her. I can assure you that if you follow these tips to the letter, you'll be able to turn your life around and find happiness in the absence of that toxic woman. If you've made it to this video, it's because this information interests you, and I can assure you that you should know it. Put yourself on a pedestal. The only person who has the power and ability to see your true worth and potential is yourself, no one else. If you're the kind of man who has always depended on others' approval to determine your worth, it's important to know that this can negatively impact your love life. In fact, you may never attract the right woman if you don't learn to recognize your own value and carry yourself as the high-value man you are. Of course, this is not always easy, especially if you've spent a lot of time letting others define who you are and what you're worth. But once you start looking at yourself with a more positive perspective and acknowledge your own skills and qualities, you'll begin to attract women who value the same things as you. You must understand that for a woman to be by your side, she must also have high value and a positive mindset. Knowing this, you can quickly identify women who are not interested in you for who you are but for what you can do for them. Therefore, you can avoid being manipulated or used by malicious women. Remember that there's nothing wrong with putting yourself on a pedestal and embracing your essential value. In fact, it's necessary to ensure that you are always respected and valued as the high-value man you are. So never let anyone else take the place that rightfully belongs to you. The top. Let's look at the situation from another perspective. When a woman starts to ignore a man, he may resort to desperate behaviors, chasing after her, buying gifts, and promising the world. These behaviors reflect weakness and an inability to envision a future without that woman. However, instead of seeing the situation as desperate, we can view it as a positive thing. No one is born tied to another person. We spend most of our lives without that woman's presence, so do you really think she's necessary now? If the woman starts to ignore us, we should raise our hands to the sky and be thankful because no man deserves to be with a manipulative woman who only wants to take advantage of him, regardless of how he feels. Say goodbye to dependency and neediness. Some women have learned to manipulate men into becoming dependent on them. These women use the man as it suits them, knowing he won't go anywhere and will be available to them at all times. Once they have obtained everything they need from the man, they discard him as if he were a worthless object, leaving him emotionally affected and begging for their attention. This type of situation can be very challenging to handle, but it's important to stay strong and not fall into their game. Avoid sending messages and do not pursue the woman. Sometimes, women seeking to manipulate may return when they realize that the man has overcome their influence. Maintain your dignity and self-confidence. Remember that you deserve respect, and a woman who doesn't value you doesn't deserve to be in your life. You are at your best company. Understand that. It's essential to learn to live your life in solitude and at peace with yourself. If you were previously tied to a manipulative woman, now is the time to enjoy the things you love and didn't have time for before. This will allow you to regain confidence in yourself and enjoy your own company. You should also consider giving a chance to other women who are willing to be close to you. But first, take the time to heal your wounds and understand your past situations. Only then can you avoid making the same mistakes in the future. Don't lose your dignity. It's important to remember that every person deserves to be treated with respect and dignity in a relationship. Sometimes, it can be challenging to realize that we are in a manipulative relationship, especially when we are in love and feeling vulnerable. Manipulative individuals often have great persuasive power, which can make us feel like we are in a normal situation even when we are not. It's crucial that we learn to recognize the signs of a manipulative relationship and know when it's time to end it. No matter how much love we feel for someone, we should never allow them to make us feel less than we are. By setting boundaries and saying no to what doesn't make us comfortable, we can cultivate a healthy and loving relationship that makes us feel valued and respected. Learning to love ourselves and prioritize our own happiness is the key to having loving and fulfilling relationships in our lives. Self-respect is one of the most important things we can have in life. It forms the foundation of our self-esteem and how we relate to others. We often focus on taking care of others and forget the importance of loving ourselves, but it's essential to understand that we all have boundaries, and it's crucial to learn to respect them. If you feel uncomfortable in a situation, don't force yourself to go along with it. Learn to say no without feeling guilty and prioritize your emotional well-being. Learning to respect oneself is an ongoing process. It's important to remember that self-esteem is not built overnight but develops over the course of a lifetime. Maintain your beliefs. In many cases, these beliefs are based on past experiences, childhood teachings, or the cultural stereotypes that surround us. They can be extremely rigid and challenging to change even when we realize they are harmful to our relationships. These beliefs can include preconceived ideas about gender, sexuality, communication, or commitment in a relationship, and they can limit our ability to develop healthy and satisfying relationships. It's important to recognize that each person is unique, and there is no one right way to have a relationship. What works for one person may not work for another, and it's important to respect the individual needs and desires of each person. That's why you should not allow a woman to change your beliefs just so you can be with her. This is not healthy because you are a free person who deserves to be who you are without being judged. Many women, when they are with a man, want to change his personality, even though it may have been what made her fall in love in the first place. That's why it's essential to be aware of who you are and make it clear from the beginning. If she doesn't accept you for who you are, then it's your signal to walk away from this woman and never look back. As you embark on this journey of self-discovery and embrace the importance of maintaining your beliefs and values, remember that genuine connections are built on authenticity. By staying true to yourself and refusing to compromise your core principles, you not only enhance your self-worth but also attract those who appreciate and respect your individuality. So, when faced with the choice of altering who you are to fit into someone else's mold, always choose self-respect and the path that leads to relationships rooted in honesty and mutual admiration. If you adopt these strategies, you will definitely increase your value as a man, and undoubtedly, you will have an advantage in the game of ignoring, which, contrary to what they believe, is a game that can be played by both parties. If you enjoyed the video, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos. Until next time.